Welcome guys. Today it will be not about my project bike, the HP2. It will be more about the HP2 suspension setup and suspension options that we have. And so it's a different part, because in the meantime when I need to do some work on the gearbox where I need assistance from my friend, I want to do something about the suspension and what options we had about the HP2, how we can make it better, how the performance can be better, and how can we, with a low budget, improve the suspension. Some people will ask, they don't know maybe HP2s, why should we improve the suspension on a bike that is call it HP, high performance. And in this option, or in this opinion, I can say many people do upgrades on this bike, because the front suspension, the front forks are really bad made. So for such a high class bike, the forks were the only thing where everyone said they are not working great. And why they are not working great? Because they used cheap parts inside. They just saved money on the wrong side. It was not really necessary. They could make the bike 500, 600 euros, maybe expensive here, and no one would care, because it was at the time expensive enough, because this bike cost at the production start in 2005 16,000 euros without the supermoto wheels. This is the price without taxes, anything what I have in my mind, or the price that was in Germany announced. In Austria it was expensive here. In some other countries it was also a little bit different, but around 16,000 euros it was the price. So it was a really expensive bike, because if you compare in the same time, 990 Adventure R from KTM was at 12,000 euros, something like that, and GS was a little bit lower, a little bit, not much, but a little bit. But if you compare a GS to this bike, with a GS you can do a lot more. And if I mean a lot more, is you can take with you with yourself luggage with no problems, and go on the road, go off-road, everything. And this bike is like a one-purpose bike, even that it was sold 1 year later with supermoto wheels. But this supermoto wheels was because some people wanted a supermoto, and this is why they made a megamoto, because the megamoto was also a high class bike. And yeah, that's the bike behind me. I will talk about this in another part. So let's talk about the suspension. The fork was a normal Marzocchi fork. If I say normal, it was so that you have in one fork the rebound, and another fork you can set the compression. This means one fork was only for rebound and the other one for compression. It's not so bad to make this, but for such a bike it was not great. Also the components inside are really cheap. Everyone that will do a rebuild and knows some suspension, some other suspension, will say this is junk. And this is why I will talk today about the suspensions. So you see here a front fork, for example. This front fork is from a different bike. Most of you will think it's a WP, but some will see here it's Shiver Marzocchi. And why I chose this fork for this bike? This is for the project bike. Um, why I chose this? It's so that this fork is the same size on the triple clamps as the stock forks. Why I don't choose WPs and they are so special, it's so that these forks are fitting into the original clamps, triple clamps. And why they fit? Because it has here and here the same size. Most of the forks have here on the lower lower triple clamps the same size as sorry, it has on the lower a different size than the HP2 forks, and on the top they are almost all the same, so you can use on the upper one the original. This one is so that it's on the lower part and the upper part the same size as stock, because it's the same manufacturer and it's the same Shiver 45, but these forks are used on the Aprilia RX V 450 or 550. They use the same forks in both bikes. And why I chose them? Because they have rebound and compression at each fork. So we have on both forks the settings for rebound and compression, and they are much higher grade made inside. So inside they are much better, and they are quite cheap compared to cartridge kits for the original fork for the HP2. To make it a transition to WP. This is also about the legislation a problem in Austria. You cannot use triple clamps that are not approved, so you're not road legal and blah blah blah. So this is a big topic in, I would say, in Austria and in Germany. With these forks you don't have this problem because the forks are looking like the original ones. You use everything from the original bike. The lower fork legs need just only to be unscrewed from this fork. The original fork legs from the original HP2 forks need to be screwed here, reset it, like do new springs in for the weight of the bike, adjust it, and that's it. Plug and play, I would say. So it's not really a big job to do this modification. I bought these fork legs with the axle and some other parts because he wanted to sell it in one piece, in one piece, and I can say these were also quite cheap and they are quite new. They are looking also like new. They came from an enduro bike and the lower legs are really like new. I know on bikes that have like 40 hours from an AXT, for example, and the legs are looking really like crap. And this suspension should have around 60 hours, he said, from the bike, and they're really looking like that. So this is why I chose them. They cost 550 euros. And I can say you can find it also cheaper, and for 550 euros you don't get a cartridge kit for the original forks. So this is a really cheap solution, because if you do a WP transition you need to buy the forks. Okay, you buy some AXT forks, or even better, you buy 950 or 990 Adventure R forks and build them in, but you cannot build them in. You need also triple clamps. So these two things you need. Triple clamps are around 800 to 1000 euros because they are customer specifically made, and yeah, they're just expensive. And then also the legs and the fork legs, they also will be around 600 euros if you buy higher grade forks like I have on my Enduro, that I will show you in a different video, where I will go why this is my Enduro bike. And there I have Öhlins forks. If I mean Öhlins forks, this means the whole fork is from Öhlins, so inside and outside. And this is, I would say, the highest grade what you can get for the bike, or for every bike. It's comparable if you know the WP Convalve, so they are on the same level, and this is also, they are really expensive to come by and to buy, but I got it on my enduro bike, and I can say they're really great, and you feel even every click when you adjust it, it makes a difference. In these original ones, I can say you can click 2 or 4 clicks and you will have not that better or less better feeling than on the Öhlins, but you pay for it. So this is why I want to have on this bike, because this bike should be not my race bike or anything, this should be my travel bike for longer distance. So I don't want to have my Öhlins because they are higher on maintenance, and this is why I want to have this one, because they have a little bit longer lifetime. Öhlins also have a long lifetime, but they leak more often, I would say, or not about that, maybe because I use it off-road, but they need a little bit more maintenance, otherwise we can use the performance that it should provide. So this is about the fork legs, so it's about you, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And now we get to the suspension. The suspension. This is the original rear damper. It's different than other bikes because it has no spring. The spring is here, and this is an air spring, as it says, air damping system. So the system is quite easy made, because you have here possibility, take your pump it up, and then you have here you pump it up to 6 bar, so a bit higher than the tire, and then you have here the possibility to ride it. Then you have also the possibility to adjust it between soft and hard. So yeah, that's about this about this damper. But the disadvantage of this damper is you don't have a rebound adjustment. You don't have really also a compression adjustment. You can only choose between soft and hard, that's it, and you cannot do anything more. So when you go over a bump, then it's like, I will show you about this measurement device. You go like, this is your normal ride height, and then you go over bump, then it compress the rear damper, and then it will, because it's air is compressible, but it don't want to be compressed. It will shoot your back up, like it will rebound you. So this is, you don't like this, because no one will like it when your bike will hit always your ass because it's shooting around. This is the disadvantage of the system, but the advantage of this system is no other system on the market, even the Öhlins that I will show you soon, is not possible to give you this compression or this traction on the rear wheel, because of this air that is inside. It tries always to be not compressed, and this is why the wheel will always stick to the ground, or try to stick to the ground to the last second. So you will have the traction, but you don't have, or you need to know how to ride it over bumps and everything, just to get it over it and don't get a kick on your ass. So this is the disadvantage. Also, the disadvantage about this system was it got here a little bit corroded. You see it also here on this old one that is for sale if you want. it was so that this won't get corroded, and then over the time here you have a piston. You see it a little bit. This piston is empty inside and it can be cracked. So many of them got like this shape. So on the it's not straight. On the lower it goes like that because they are already cracked or bent. So this is a sign that they are worn out. So of course many bikes had this system because this is the stock system, and they got back to BMW when they had the guarantee or some other issues. So then BMW came to the idea, okay, we will give you an Erlin suspension. This Erlin suspension is the original that was given from BMW to the bikes that had a problem, or you wanted the aftermarket system. You could buy it at Erlin's, at BMW from Erlin's. The advantage of this system is obvious. We have a rebound, we have a compression adjustment, and this is for the time. In 2005, this was a really good rear damping system. This Erlin suspension has it's more for riders that ride off-road but with no luggage, I would say. Of course, you can adjust everything, you can change the spring and so on, but for example, for a rider that is riding solo, but 2 or 3 times a year he wants to ride with the bike with luggage and off-road, then this system is not great. You would need a preload adjuster so you have a bigger space to ride it, because then you can adjust the preload, your balance on the bike is better. And this is why this suspension is more for the guys that are like, on my other I have it, and this is a really nice suspension. It works really great. I'm really happy with it. On this bike I will also stick to this one, but I'm checking now if I can find a preload adjuster for this rear damper, so I can adjust the preload and change also the spring, because I want to have the possibility to adjust the height without tools, just with a preload adjuster. It don't need to be hydraulic, because hydraulic is the problem that when you jump and you have like not static but dynamic damping, then the hydraulic one is maybe also making some compression and also can start to leak. So this is a thing that can fail. And when you have a manual adjustment, like with a wrench, where you spin it and then it compress or decompress, then it's like it cannot get broken in real, because yeah, it's mechanically. So this is the Öhlins. You have also some from Wunderlich, from B-Tuber, WP Not. Yeah, there are many different rear suspension manufacturer, but I would say the Öhlins one is the most popular. Oh, for example, Touratech is also doing one. The Touratech one is maybe one of the latest rear suspensions. It has a preload adjuster and everything. I was thinking to exchange this one for the Touratech one, but I'm not sure for now, because the price is quite high. It's 1,000, I think 480 euros for the Touratech one. So just only for the preload adjuster to pay, like, this one is around 1,000 something, 400 euros, just only to have it. So I would say it's too much. So we will see what I will get or what I will do for this bike, but this is this was the part about the suspension for the bike, my feelings, my impressions, also what I think about the suspension, why I do this, and I hope you like it. I hope you subscribed already my channel and has also given me a like. I would really appreciate it if you support me a little bit, because this keeps me motivated, and I really like when you comment or give me a comment, and we can discuss everything. If I say something wrong, I'm really open, because I cannot do or know everything. And so as I hope we see each other in the next part. Next part will be about HPN parts, because I need to put some time fillers in, because this one, the gearbox, I can do around next week. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope we see each other next time. Please subscribe, like, and comment everything. Thank you. Bye.